up, my man of society? It is your host with the most, Shadow Loke, back at you with another video. Don't forget to hit the like, the subscribe. It's free. That's how you help my channel get into the algorithm. I'd highly appreciate it. Sorry for the lighting. Once again, had to work late. But I wanted to touch on something, which I think it's important. Which is a interview that Chito Rana had did. He's a rapper, upstate homeboy, who raps. Talented individual. Go check out his music. You know what I mean? Homie gets down. Right? And he recently got out from doing some time. Right? And, he's pretty much, pouring his heart out right here on this interview. In which I feel him. I feel what he's saying and I feel what he's going through. You know what I mean? I think all the homies do. You know what I mean? I think we can all relate to homie in one way or another, or multiple ways, right? But see, the thing is that there's some people that don't understand, and there's people who are not a part of the street life. How can I say? Who really tend to judge without knowing, right? Want to insult the individual. It's funny because they say that us, gang members, that we're the scum, the ones who are heartless, and the ones that are this and that. When everyday people are the ones that are the most scandalous. You know what I mean? They like to, judge without knowing, insult, talk shit, name call, the works, So I always found that that's funny that, that they hate these individuals for these behaviors, yet they display the same behaviors as well. When it comes to Chito Rana, right, he was talking about how nobody was there for him, and, his brother passed away and he can't see his kids, and, everyone forgot about him when he was busted. The thing is that we all us homies, we chose this life. We chose to be a part of it. We chose to go and do what we went and did, right? We can't blame nobody but ourselves, for that. And this is the game. This is the game. What you're experiencing, this is the real gang life. This is the real game right here. No one's going to be there for you. No one's going to write to you. No one's going to be... That's how the game is, bro. You're not the only homie that goes through it. Every homie goes through it. You know what I mean? This is what the game truly is. If you really think, you're expecting people to have your back and be there for you, nah, you got it twisted. You know what I mean? This is truly what it is. That's why, I always tell individuals, before they get in, hey, man, are you sure you want to be a part of this life? Hey, you're going to get busted. No one's going to write to you. This is the 100% real talk, And when we were out there running amok, we didn't think about our loved ones and, what they had to be going through and all of that. We were being selfish, right? But at the time, I get it, right? You're troubled. You're angry at the world. So you don't really think about all of this, right? People don't understand the mentality, right, of an individual. And I know people want to, criticize or insult you. You know what I mean? But see, the thing is that what the world doesn't understand and people don't understand is that not everybody's mental is the same. Although maybe things like this don't affect you hard, it affects others hard. We don't all have the same mind state, so I get where you're coming from. You know what I mean? Some of us, stress. Some of us, to handle stress is a little bit more difficult than others, right? And instead of the world, understanding that, they choose to insult or hate and stuff like that. See, not everyone, even though everyone tries to act like they're a therapist, not everyone, is a licensed therapist, and that's a real profession, even though people say that that's not a real profession. You're just talking to somebody and stuff like that. Look, it goes beyond that, right? That's the reason it's a real profession where they teach this in the greatest universities, throughout the world. You think that they would be, teaching this and spending all this money on a wild goose chase? It's because these are real traumatic, problems that happen, to a lot of people throughout the world, right? Who have the same difficult thing that you have, you know what I mean? Who have a hard time getting through, problems and etc., right? I recommend therapy, my boy. I really do. You won't be seen as weak. You won't be seen as lame, Don't worry about what the world thinks, bro. Screw the world, bro. They don't walk in your shoes. They don't know what's up. They don't have your battles. And like I said, some people out there have it even worse and they muscle through it. But like I said, we don't all have the same, mind state, mind capability. Maybe you handle stress better than others, we're not all built the same. That's one thing you learn, right? When it comes to, therapy, when it comes to psychology, right? Is understanding that not everybody is the same. You have to treat each and every individual you know, by himself, not as in a group, right? When you want to get to, diagnose somebody, or get to the root and the stem of the problem, right? Because not everybody is the same. Um, and that's the honest truth, right? Although we could share similarities, right, in our lives, which guided us in the path that we chose. Just because we have similarities doesn't mean that it's exactly the same, right? So everybody's case is different. Some are very extreme, some are not that much, and etc. Right? Because there's some people that are like like way gone, um, but I recommend that somebody to talk to. You know what I mean? You don't want to be quiet into your own world, right? Because your mind will drive you mad. You know what I mean? And that's one thing that incarceration doesn't understand, right? They don't help the situation by doing that, right? They make the situation worse, makes these individuals worse. You know, makes their mind state a lot more um, dysfunctional, right? So in all true reality, most institutions make the problems worse. The problems that people face in society. I mean, they're the sad to say, they're the stem of it. You know what I mean? That and parenting. You know what I mean? Um, but look, I understand. That you lost your brother. We all lose. Loved ones. It's hard, bro. It's something that's rough. I'm not here to tell you to how you should feel or what you should do. You know what I mean? Everyone has to be able to grieve on their own. You know what I mean? How they get through things, right? Um, because only you understand your pain, right? Um, we could probably relate to what you're feeling, but we don't know exactly how you're feeling, right? And and not being able to see your children, I also know that that's a messed up feeling too, as well. You know what I mean? Even though we did create these problems, you know what I mean? I still feel for what you're going through, right? Because all us homies, I think we could say that we all been there, at one point or another, right? Things do get better. The pain does get better. You know what I mean? It truly does. Now, you say you have nothing to live for, but that's where you're wrong, my boy. You have a lot to live for. And I'm not talking about the money, the music, the riches. All those things are materialistic things. They mean nothing in this world, bro. All that shit means nothing in this world, bro. I know what truly is important in the world. And while people could say, nah, you gotta stick to the money and all that, bro, those are people that just care about materialistic things, which have no value in this world, So I know for what you mean and what you're talking about, right? When you're talking about, you would trade this all, for getting your life back, right? Your loved ones and stuff like that. But that's the reason why you do have something to look for, to live for, right? To prove them wrong, to get your stuff together. That way, you're able to see your kids again. That way your family, understands, that you are changing, that you are making a difference, right? Because they're not gonna take your word for it no more, right? You try to talk to them, but they just weren't having it because time after time after time after time we have broke our word to our loved ones, right? To our families, to our girl. We say that we're gonna change and we say we're gonna do this and that, and we end up going back to the streets, right? And fucking up again and again and again. That they just see when we say something, that they just see like, whatever, you always say that. Our word is nothing to them no more, right? So now you have the opportunity to now show that you're changing, right? With your actions. That's how you'll win the attention of your children and your family back, right? By showing that you are changing, by showing that you are striving to get better, to be a better person. Proving yourself, not by your words, because words mean nothing, but by your actions, because forever actions will speak louder than words, bro. So you do have something to live for. You know what I mean? And like I said, I do recommend therapy, my boy. You know what I mean? You won't be seen as weak or nothing like that. You know what I mean? Um, you know, but that's just, the advice I could give you, carnal. Or if not, you can hit me up through my email if you want to chat, just, or whatever, because I understand what you're going through. You know what I mean? I understand the feeling. I know people want to judge and all that, but like I said, just don't pay no mind to all these people. They're speaking without knowing. They're They have their own problems, you know. All that criticizing that they do and harassing, they have their own problems. That's the reason why they act in that manner. So don't trip. They got their own battles they gotta worry about with themselves. Um, but you know, that's just the advice I could give you, carnal. You know what I mean? Um, you know, it's time for change, my boy. You know what I mean? And it ain't nothing wrong with that, homie. You've been there, done that already, homie. You know what I mean? You came out in good standings. You know, you already did your thing, my boy. It's now time to look after yourself and your future. But I'm just saying, you know, that's just my opinion. You know, shadow we up.